There we go. Okay, now I know we are really live. Welcome, everybody. So this is what we are calling MilesTalk Live. And and apparently I need to turn the sound down on this. So the premise of MilesTalk Live is simply everything that we talk about on MilesTalk and everywhere around the frequent flyer community. And Spencer Howard is my first guest for the inaugural episode. We are most likely going to be co-hosting a session together at South by Southwest next year. And so I thought, well, what a perfect first guest on MilesTalk Live. And so what we're going to talk about today is the Marriott and Starwood merger. Now, of course, this has been in the works for a while, and with the program date of the merger finally happening on August 18th, there's still a bit of confusion about exactly what's happening here. So the first thing I just want to say before we get into all of this content is, and there's a lot, and we've got the full hour if we need it, the ways to comment. So if you're watching this in the Facebook group, or if you're watching this on the Facebook page, or if you're watching this on Spencer's Facebook page, you can just go ahead and leave a live comment. We will see the live comment. Like I see Pavel just sent a live comment, Sebastian just sent a live comment. If you send me one of those and it's a question, we will discuss that, as long as there's not a million. So the other way that you can, but don't instant message me, please. The other way that you can comment is using Twitter, and you can do hashtag MilesTalkLive. If you do hashtag MilesTalkLive, I am going to be able to see that. Although I don't really remember how I'm going to see that. But it is in one of these tabs that I've got here. I think it's in the, well, somewhere in the content flow is a way to do this.
Welcome to episode 1.
Yeah, welcome to episode 1. Sebastian, since you're in the live feed, if you could tell me what I click in content flow to be able to get to the Twitter, that would be fantastic. But you will be able to tweet hashtag MilesTalkLive. And I will, once I figure this out, be able to see it. So there's I thought it was going to be in this panel over here, but it's not. The last way that you can comment on this is if you're in the actual page, there's a blog post, and that's actually got the content flow embedded into the page. And if you ask a question there, that will show up right on my screen. So one of us will see the question, either myself or Spencer, and when we see the question, we can answer it. And hopefully on Twitter at some point. Anyway, Sebastian, if you could let me know that any second. And also, if you could check Spencer's Facebook page, it is not streaming to his page currently. So Nino or Sebastian, if you could check, please, the Facebook key link to Spencer's page. Spencer, you scheduled it, right?
Yep.
Okay, so they'll check on that. I also
Just
am
go for
aware
it.
that this broadcast, yeah, I understand this broadcast is also cutting out every few seconds. I see that right on the Facebook Live. I don't know if that has something to do with this VMX call, but we're just going to have to deal with that. You can try, if it's cutting out too much, try going into the blog post and watching it directly on the viewer instead of in Facebook Live. Anyway, I don't want to take any more time on this. If this whole thing is a technological disaster, we will simply find another way for next time. So all of that said, let's start talking about Marriott. And once Sebastian or somebody comments in my feed about what we should be doing to fix any of this, I'll just simply deal with that at the time. The most important thing, I think, is that with the Marriott Starwood merger. Spencer, I feel like when we were talking about it before, that you think that people are really over the top about it and that it's not nearly as big a deal as everyone is making. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think, I don't know. It's just a chance to adapt. I think we do that every year in some capacity in the miles and points world. And I mean, as soon as they announced what the new earn rates would be on the new credit or all the credit cards, I was just kind of like, all right, they just don't get any of my spend then. Like, that's just, move it over to, I guess for me, like the Freedom Unlimited or something. And so just more points for Hyatt, I guess. But, but at the same time, it's not like the end of the world. If you stay at Marriott's regularly, I think there's some pretty good benefits to it. So it's just, I don't think it's wonderful, and I don't think it's awful.
Yeah, no, I think what you're talking about is really primarily the credit card. But what about the overall program?
Yeah, I mean, like
because there's really two different things.
Sorry. Yes. I mean, the award chart could have been destroyed, and it wasn't. So, I mean, give it time. I'm not exactly the most trusting of Marriott, but I mean, it's fine for now, and the increases that are coming in January or sometime next, or I guess we don't know yet for sure, but sometime in 2019, like they're not, no one likes to see a devaluation in an award chart, but it could be a lot worse, and we've seen a lot worse in any number of airline charts. And I guess I don't think it was as bad as like IHG adding another category to their award chart just to make things even pricier. So it's just, just something we live with and adapt and move on.
So I mostly agree. So here's my take on it. Okay. I think that, and by the way, for everyone experiencing the network issues, hi, Chris Jensen. The team at Content Flow is currently working on the network issues, so we are fully aware of it. I apologize that it's not off to a perfect start, but they're on it. They're probably going to reset some stuff while we're talking, and that's just part of doing this MilesTalk Live for the first time. We kind of knew something was gonna go wrong. That's just, it has to happen. It's not a professional network, but maybe one day we will have the MilesTalk / straight to the points network. Anyway, my take on the Marriott thing. So first of all, I think that Marriott they are smart as heck. I mean, they are a couple people that maybe don't need the help of people like Spencer and I, because they have figured out really every way to sort of stealthily devalue the program without actually doing too much damage to the program at one time. Okay, so, and I think there's a couple of moving parts that I want to talk about this. First of all is they really didn't kill the award chart, right? If you just talk about the categories and the amount of points required for a hotel, they didn't kill that. They consolidated it, but they didn't kill it. However, so many of us earn points from the Starwood credit card right now. And that 1 point equals 3 Marriott points. And as most of us are very keenly aware, that 1 star point in the old program would equal 3 Marriott points in the new program, yet the new credit card earns only 2 points in the new program. So the primary way that we are getting the points, we're only getting 2/3 as many points as of now, August 1st.
Absolutely.
So I think that's the first problem. Hey, Carrie. Hey, Christine. I'm glad you guys are all joining. We are working on all of this technical issues, everyone that's joining. So the the other thing
I agree with that very much. Like, I actually do agree with that. I was just talking to some, I guess, 2-3 days ago, who spends, a couple $100,000 on Facebook ads every month. And so when they max out, an Ink Preferred or a Business Gold Rewards card, they would push things over to the SPG card. And now they're just kind of like, well, now what? So I think
Absolutely.
they're really disappointed.
Absolutely.
I think they're really disappointed with it.
I think, yeah. So I think we'll come back in a few minutes to what card do we go to now with the SPG Amex done. You know, I was at the Marriott new program launch event a few months ago, and I actually spoke to the CMO of Marriott about this whole thing, and she didn't seem to think that this was going to be a big issue, and that for the most part, you know, people would keep using the cards. So we didn't get too deep into it, but you know, my thinking is that Marriott has made a very big assumption that people are going to keep using these cards, and I think that that will sort of, well, let's take a step back. Let's talk about the redemption, because I think that's the most important thing, and then that backs into the earning, and also why I think that Marriott is being so cunning about this, right? So we know that right now there's no, we're not going to have the top category, right? The category 8 doesn't kick in until 2019. So from August 18th until December 31st now, we've got no peak season, right? The higher amount, we've got no top category. Your top redemption of 60,000 points is going to be, if you can get availability at the top hotels and resorts, amazing. And that's going to give people very good feelings about this new program, right? Because when you talk about a loyalty program, if we just talk about the science of loyalty marketing is about people feeling good, wanting to have more experiences with your brand, and wanting to tell other people about your brand. So now in the midst of this, what we call a devaluation, people are going to have these amazing experiences, making them feel like they love Marriott, perhaps even more than they did before. However, once they spend all of these points, right, and we'll also talk about the travel packages, air and hotel packages that people are freaking out about, because they are extremely good values right now and won't be as good values after the 17th. But everyone's burning points like crazy because of these great opportunities. So they're going to feel really good, but what's going to happen? I feel like it's like a sugar high, because everyone's going to have such great feelings, and we're going to get into 2019, and there's going to be something hitting all at once, and that is that it's going to be much harder to earn points. You're only going to 2/3 as much on the credit cards. They've also, we'll talk about the credit card sign-up bonuses across Chase and Amex. They're making it impossible for most people to get any more card bonuses. So you're not going to earn it from spend. You're not going to on a credit card. You're not going to earn it from sign-up bonuses on a credit card. You can only get 15 elite credits now on your credit card towards your gold status, right? You're going to have to get your butt into a room. You're going to have to pay for Marriott stays, or you're not going to have points. So now they're juicing the feelings that you're getting with these cheap redemptions, and then you're going to want more. And the only way you're really going to be able to get more at scale is either a ton of spending on the credit cards, knowing that you're only getting 2/3 as much, or staying in Marriott hotels, which is like crazy, because like, who does that to earn points? What do you think about that?
I mean, it's a lot to unpack. I think it was an interesting move by Marriott. I think they've clearly shifted their priorities towards those who were just staying in their hotels, business travelers, basically. Because they could have just left the cards alone. They could have left the SPG alone and basically said, the card now earns 3 Marriott points because of the conversion between SPG and Marriott. They could just left it alone, but they chose not to. And I mean, like any other, airline or hotel or credit card company, they kind of portrayed it as oh, look, you have these bonus categories and you can do these other things. And,
Right.
That's fine. It's all spin. Loyalty programs are there to make you make irrational decisions.
And they do
But
get that.
I think, there'll be a nice little run on awards because they're pretty good rates now, especially some of the higher tier former SPG I guess now we'll call them Marriott properties. I don't know what Marriott's they're gonna keep calling them Starwood or whatever, but you get a St. Regis,
right?
And you can book it at 60,000 Marriott points or something, and it'll go up in January. So I mean, good luck booking, or again, I don't know when in 2019, I guess, but it'll go up. And before that, I think everyone's going to be booking them as fast as they can. So good luck getting an award, and then it'll run out and people will have to decide how they want to earn points. And I don't know if I see people, I think there's a bunch of people in our community who will just stop spending money on the SPG cards. I mean, I've already seen that. I have, and
Yeah,
bunch of people I talk
me
to
too.
have. But at the same time, like, we're a pretty small community relative to the size of the population of people who are traveling. So I don't know if Marriott's too concerned about that.
Well, I think so. It's
But
interesting. I
you know,
think
that's just the
that
way it goes. That's sorry. Go ahead.
no, yeah, I agree. I think well, so there is a couple of things to really think about there. Um, the question around is the community at large, outside of the people like you and I who are crazy about this stuff, are they really paying attention to what a point is worth? Because I have seen a lot of people in certain groups on Facebook that I won't name that are not my group, where people talk about this, how it's going to be so great because you're earning twice as many points now. So clearly some people do not get what's happening here. They think that it's an improvement. How, like, could you even possibly guess what percentage you think of the Marriott loyal people, the people that have been spending on these credit cards, are the people like us versus the people that don't understand that they're going to be earning less? And is it possible that as much as we think that nobody's going to spend on these credit cards ever again, people are still going to spend tons on these credit cards?
Sure. I mean, I imagine there'll be plenty of people who do, and not necessarily because they think they're getting twice the points. I mean, I'm sure that'll happen to some people, but there are people who use the same credit card because they use the same credit card. Like, they've been doing it for 10 years, and so they will keep doing it. The Chase Southwest card is the one that always comes to mind. People are always so happy to be using
Right.
that card when I meet them. Like, they just use it on everything, and they don't. I mean, you know, fine. Like, that's just, it's routine is easy. People don't think about it, and so they just keep going. And that's, you know, in a sense, I guess what we're kind of fighting against and trying to help people step away from. But that's just, I think it's just easy for people to keep doing what they've always been doing. So if you have somebody who's had the SPG card for a decade and like that's all they spend on, well, what do you like? Do you expect them to all of a sudden just
Right.
stop? I guess I've seen too many people who are willing to. I mean, before they learn about it, they'll just like blow a bunch of miles on, you know, like a standard level award, just because, well, that's how many miles they were asking for. Like, the airline wanted this many, so I just gave them up, and I didn't have to pay as much for the flight, so they were like totally happy with it. I mean, I kind of imagine a similar scenario where it's like, oh, the earn rate change, whatever, just keep doing your thing, and you know, then they hit like peak award prices in the new chart next year, and you know, that'll also, you know, people just keep doing that. So it's just
Right.
it's the nature of the beast. Where I don't think we're ever going to be the majority of people. I don't think we're going to have tons of people who have like a discerning eye toward, you know, what credit card they're using and which loyalty programs do they care about and when are they redeeming. And it's just, it's more than I think a lot of people are going to, more effort than a lot of people are going to put into it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's too
I
cynical.
agree.
No. That's why I kind of look at this, and it's like this. There's been so much excitement over these like big changes, and I was like, yeah, it's pretty good for some people, and it's like not so great for others. I don't have like these crazy strong opinions the way some people who like want to throw something at Marriott. I'm like, that's fine. Like, I mean, if anything, like the like nights and flights, what do they call them, hotel and air packages, like that was a significant devaluation. Like that that one, there's no kind of like way to talk about it in any other way. It's just not going to be as good anymore. So it's I just worry that's what Marriott will do to the whole program in the long term.
Yeah. So okay. Well, so we have a couple things. Let's come back to the credit cards in a little bit, because that's sort of a thing that our community is very, very worked up about. Maybe affects some average Marriott people a little bit less. But let's talk about another thing that our community is crazed about, that the community at large, outside of miles and points people, absolutely have no idea about, which is the air and hotel packages. Now, have you, Spencer, personally redeemed any of the air and hotel packages? Right now, in a big frenzy, nope. Unload all of your Marriott points.
Never
Not
have.
one.
Not one. Never have. Ever.
But you do.
Just
I happen to know about you, and I'm, boy, getting some Twitter messages and people can't connect. Everybody that, if you can actually watch this right now, I'm so sorry that we don't have a connection. I don't actually know what's happening because I have not heard anything from the crew. However, this
you're
entire
not a
thing is
tech
being
expert.
recorded. This entire thing is being recorded. So we are going to post the whole video after. It just won't have been perfectly live. So just putting that out there.
Stick
If
around for
anyone can see
Dave's
this,
meltdown.
otherwise,
5 minutes.
that's right. That's right. But I mean, I know that you guys are all here, and I see your messages, but you might not see mine. I don't know what's happening. Now, the air and hotel packages. So people are going absolutely crazy about the air and hotel packages. And for good reason, right? Now, I mean, if you take one step back, for instance, a category 1 to 5 hotel, 270,000 points would get you 120,000 miles plus a 7-night hotel stay, right? So unpacking that back to the Starwood ratio, right, which would be 120 would be 360 Marriott. So for only 270, 2/3 of the price it'll be, you could get those 120,000. Let's say, Spencer, I know you love Alaska miles. You get 120,000 Alaska miles, and or you could just get a bunch of Bank of America cards, and then you'd still have a 7-night hotel stay for free, right? And I think that's why people are so crazed about them. But I think that it's really important to talk about some of what people are so crazed about, right? Because the new award chart for the air and hotel does severely devalue it unless you are booking it at peak times, which won't exist until 2019. So I think it's hard for people to get their head around, for 6 months it's going to be a terrible value, but after that, if it's peak time, it might actually be an okay value again, just not as good as it is now. But a lot of people are speculatively redeeming them because there is this opinion that has been put out into the community that Marriott not wanting to screw people over and maybe not having the technical capabilities to correctly map these packages over are going to give boatloads of points as a return for these unattached certificates. I'm not saying it's not going to happen because I don't know what's going to happen.
That's optimistic.
I don't think it's going to
really
happen.
Optimistic.
It's really optimistic.
When is anything like that played out?
Yeah, my personal opinion is that I think that they are working on a tech solution right now among all of their other tech solutions for everything. And if they can figure it out, they're really just going to map it. If you had for a certain category tier of hotel, it's going to be X many points that you can spend. And for people that are like, oh, maybe I'll be able to book a 2-night stay up to that many points. No, I virtually guarantee it's still going to have to be a 7-night stay. That is one of the things that you sign on for when you got the certificate. I think that the way that it might work out for people that are speculating is if Marriott cannot get that tech solution done in time and they just have no real way to do it that's not crazy labor intensive, maybe they will do some sort of happy surprise for everybody. But I think that hoping for that is, I put that odd at 10% myself, but that's just speculative. What do you think is going to happen?
I honestly have no idea. I haven't put a lot of thought into it because I just don't care. I think people are overwhelming themselves with
absolutely
booking a 7-night stay just because it's there and you're worried that it's going to go away, as opposed to, do you actually want to spend 7 nights at a particular Marriott property? And the vast majority of people I talk to, even when people fly across the world to, Thailand, and again, this is just my personal experience. It's an anecdote. I have no idea of what what real data would show, but people aren't staying 7 nights in one place. I definitely have seen families do it when they just want to like go to a beach and relax. But there are a ton of people who are staying like 3 nights, 4 nights, 5 nights, and like that's it. Some people saying like one or two in some places. Like I just 7 nights doesn't do much. Like I've had no interest in staying 7 nights somewhere. Like that is entirely too long for me. So
so
like
I'm exactly like you.
I've got I think 4 nights is like my sweet spot. So I can take advantage of like the City Prestige fourth night free thing. But but really, it's just like that's enough time for me to get on the ground and do stuff. So I haven't really stressed out about it. I don't really see Marriott doing anything special and like, oh, congratulations, you got lucky and booked one of these and held on to it. Like, if anything, I feel like it would be slightly devalued. Um, and that's, I mean, I don't know whether that means that you hold on to it and then they do like a category deval across the board on all these different properties, and so your category 1 through 5, the 5 is now whatever, you basically have to book what is a really a 4 or something. Um,
Right.
I don't know. Don't. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, I think I think what you're saying is true, and actually until I had the City Prestige, I didn't even book 4 nights anywhere, and now
yeah.
and my
Look what
sweet
that
spot
card
was
did to
three
you.
nights. It's such a good value, and in fact, we're going to Corsica the end of August, and we really wanted to stay 3 nights in the north and then 2 nights in the south, but because of the City Prestige, we're staying 4 nights in the north, on the south, because that's going to save us about $600. My savings so far having the City Prestige annually are it's probably over $1,500 a year, even after the annual fee from 4 night stays. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a little bit insane. So that has actually modified my behavior now into 4 night stays. I do sometimes on vacation, or actually for South by Southwest, do 5 night stays. And so for the 5 night stays, I really love the sweet spot of Starwood, Marriott, and Hilton for the awards, where you can book 4 and get the fifth night free. And in fact, we've booked now in the Maldives for. Yeah, I wish Hyatt would do that also. So we booked in the Maldives for 5 nights for 380,000 Hilton points, because it's a phenomenal value, getting several cents in a point in Hilton value, which is phenomenal. But I'll tell you, the only thing that I was thinking that I would do a 7 night stay would be if I knew that I could book the St. Regis in the Maldives for 7 nights for
Yeah. Who would?
240,000 points, or for an unattached travel package. However, I don't know what package I'd have to buy, and I'm not willing to pony up over 500,000. I think it's 540,000 points just by memory for a tier 4 or 5 package. Not doing that. Even a
Yeah.
category 9, I don't want to spend that much on. Now, if magically a category 1 to 5 would convert into in any category, sure, I would spend that in a second. But that goes back to where I feel about Marriott making it so hard now to earn points, because I don't want to waste what I have. I've got a healthy balance of Marriott, but I don't have like anywhere near 1 million points like some people do. And so I think, and this is what I want to say, my point, and this is for people watching, I personally think that the sweet spot of Marriott now is, well, it's two things, and there's two things of different people. I know Chris Jensen, who's watching this live, absolutely loves transferring. He doesn't use them for Marriott. And that's perfectly okay, because there's some transfer partners for the combined new program that you cannot transfer from anywhere else. And if you have a nice, healthy balance of Marriott and you want to transfer those partners, I know you love Asiana. Like those are good uses, but they're not the way I use them, because I try and use other airlines that I have easier to get either Citi or Amex or Chase points for redeeming for flights, even if it's a different airline than I want, or et cetera, or if I'm paying more. Hey, I just paid, on that Lufthansa flight that I took this week, I paid 70,000 Aeroplan, right? I could have done 50,000 Asiana, but my Asiana would have had to have come from Starwood, not willing to transfer those, so I used Amex. So that's all part of the arbitrage game. But for me, the sweet spot for Marriott is the 5-night stays. Pay 4, get the 5th night free. And the fact that they haven't done like a Hilton where they're adjusting the points, there is going to be this low, medium, high now, but you can still get tremendous value on a standard room at a peak time, right? Last year using Marriott, I did 5 nights during South by Southwest at the JW, which is Conference Hotel in Austin. And then I used another 5 nights for Sydney over New Year's Eve. Both times I got something like 10 cents a point in value, which is Starwood points. So dial that back for Marriott, 3.5 cents a point. Yeah. But we're talking, 5 times, 6 times what they're worth. For me, that's a sweet spot for hotel points, right? Like I love hotel points for using them at peak times. Now, of course, room availability is tight at peak times, but if there is a standard base room, you're going to be able to use your points. And so for me, that's the killer. What is your killer use of Marriott points?
Well, for me, it was always transferring. I mean, I look at it as like at a Marriott and SPG because Marriott's basically taking on the SPG transfer partners. For me, it was like I used this past year like SPG transferred to Japan Airlines to book Emirates first class and stuff like that. And I've definitely leaned towards booking flights, admittedly. But I always liked SPG just because sometimes it was the best opportunity to book a hotel stay when you needed one. Sometimes just a night, like overnighting somewhere. Actually, I did that in Milan recently. It was an overnight layover. Got in that night, was leaving in the morning, or I guess early afternoon. And so I just wanted to like book a stay at the Sheraton because it was at the airport. So, I mean, so for me, like it was just, it was flights that I wanted. I guess I just topped off right before all the changes started happening, like topped off my Lufthansa Miles & More account, not something you typically hear about, so that I could book the new longest flight in the world that's coming up from Newark to Singapore. Apparently Singapore Airlines wanted to release business class space to Lufthansa and no one else. 67,000 points later. I already had like 65,000 of them. I just needed a couple thousand. But yeah, I mean, that's, I'm kind of a flight person. That's my thing. And then hotels are just kind of, they fill in the gaps. But that, again, like now you're going to have, like for your use, you liked it during expensive cash, like when cash days were expensive, and now they're just going to make those peak prices and completely change how people use their points. So it just feels like a slow march, or maybe not that slow, to getting rid of aspirational awards, which is unfortunate because then it becomes the only people who have enough points are the people who just like spend millions of dollars. And then they're often the same people who could have paid for the place anyway, like to stay anyway. So it's not that aspirational to someone who could just like throw down $500 in a hotel room without thinking about it. So it's interesting, and maybe that's what they want. Maybe they want to like have a certain clientele, and that's what we have to learn how to deal with.
I think, of course we're not privy to exactly what their arrangements are with the card issuers, what the issuers are paying Marriott for the points. Clearly, they have made an internal decision that too much of that spend was coming from credit cards in terms of the liability of their points versus the redemptions. And so they wanted to dial that back. I mean, I have to assume, right, that everything has been so intentional on their part that I have to assume they've actually really run the numbers and decided this is what they want. I think so. I'm not saying everything.
I mean, they're clueless with the like hotel and air packages. They still don't know what they're doing with those. They weren't even sure what day the new program was taking effect. Like, I think we give them
I think credit. Possibly, but I think with the air and hotel, I think they have a couple options on the table, and they don't know what their tech team can pull off in the next 2 weeks, week and a half, actually, week.
But they've been working on this merger. Hold on, they've been working on this merger for how long, and they're just still kind of like, I don't know what the tech team can do. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
at this point, you should have figured that out like a year ago.
I agree.
Like,
I'm sure there had to have been a huge prioritization of things. I mean, I can't imagine, part of my career is an IT project manager to an extent, and I'm thinking about like the to-do list for IT on this merger. I mean, and you've got a Gantt chart that's insane. So this had to be one of the very, very lowest priorities. So it's possible they just still don't really know. But I would also say that you normally wouldn't leave anything like that kind of capability to be first going into a decision tree right now. So
Sure.
probably by this late point, they do know what's happening. They want to tell us, but
Why
why?
wouldn't you tell
And
customers? Yeah. I just think if they don't know what they're doing.
it's possible. I don't know. Or there are some people that as well as I do think it's because they don't want to run on the bank. It's also possible it's the reverse, that people are actually going to be disappointed and they're just going to be on a case-by-case basis making people whole that feel cheated and hoping that not everybody gives them a hard time about it. It's not necessarily going to be this dream scenario, even if they haven't worked it out yet. But anyway, let's leave that alone because that's really a niche thing. The last thing I want to talk about in terms of the actual hotel experience is just the levels for status. Now, with platinum becoming gold and gold really being silver, et cetera, from the old to the new, it's very confusing, first of all. The new gold basically doesn't get you very much anymore, whereas it used to, and now platinum is what gets you anything, right? You now need to be platinum. This is really important. You need 50 nights, and you can get a maximum of 15 night credits from all your credit cards, just one credit card or 4 credit cards. You're only getting 15 elite credits. So you're going to somehow need to get 35 nights in a Marriott in order to get to platinum, which is the old gold, which is what gets you the lounge access and the breakfast and the 4 p.m. checkout. So I'm just going to put in my big whine, which is I love 4 p.m. checkout with Starwood. It made me very, very loyal to Starwood. And now that's really becoming a high tier benefit. Yeah, well, so I think that's gonna have 2 effects, right? It's gonna have some people that will make sure they get the 50 nights, or at least 35 in a credit card, because that's important to them. And then there's gonna be people that just drop off because they weren't staying as much. And so what is that collective going to amount to? And I mean, obviously we have no idea, we can only speculate. But do you think that it's intentional? Here's what I want to ask you. Do you think it's intentional that they are taking what people get from an Amex Platinum and devaluing that? Because it's a little bit in line with how they're devaluing all of credit card stuff versus making them stay in a hotel. Do they intentionally, do you think, want to really force people's behavior to be, you're going to be staying in our hotels if you want benefits?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think the priority is just those who are going to be staying there. And it's interesting because they've kind of gone the opposite direction of Hilton. So you have the SPG Luxury card coming out, which also just comes with gold status. And then you can spend $75,000 to get platinum. That's a lot of spending.
Crazy.
But then you have the Amex, so what is it, the Hilton Aspire Diamond. Thanks for having the card. Just like that.
Right.
And so you get executive lounge access when it's available at Hilton properties. So I just think it's interesting to see them going in completely opposite directions. I think.
But don't you feel Hilton's too easy?
I mean, it's too easy in the sense if you get a credit card, but how many people want to get a $450 a year credit card for just the stuff, especially for if you're not staying at Hilton's regularly? Maybe how many nights is it? I actually don't know because I don't care too much about earning elite status, but how many nights does Diamond require for Hilton? Do you know off the top of your head? It's not insignificant.
I do not know. It's a lot.
So,
it's more than I've ever.
It's a lot of nights. But how many people are going to get close and not have it, so they want the lounge access? How many people are getting the card for that purpose? I think most people would, again, it would be an irrational decision where they're like, oh, I want lounge access because I'm staying at a Hilton twice this year. And so I'm like, well, Congrats, you paid $450 so that you could have lounge breakfast twice. I don't know. So
but you're right. It's a
I don't
really
know
good
if
point.
it's
They
as
really
easy.
they're
People,
polar
we
opposites.
think of it as, yeah, we think of it as like that's super easy to get Hilton status, but how many people are really going to be caring about that in the end? I think you would have to have a sizable number of stays at a Hilton for that to make sense financially. But yeah,
I
again,
agree.
like back to Marriott, I do think that that's just they're putting their effort into the people who are staying there. I mean, it's not something. The benefits are, I mean, decent for those who are going to be platinum elites. Yeah, it's. I can't really. I don't know. I don't have anything like super negative to say about the program. It's just harder now for those of us who like to leverage credit cards for it. Um, so you kind of have to. If you're going to book a paid stay, you're just going to have. If you want lounge access and you really want it, you're going to have to like book a room with access, like an executive floor room or whatever they want to call it. So that's the way things seem to be going with Marriott.
Yeah, I do personally have some very mixed feelings about all of this. I think
Yeah.
that the points I have, right, and I've got platinum through the end of next year, or platinum elite, whatever, and I feel like my points will go far. The sweet nights are cool, right?
Yeah.
But when I get low on points, I don't. I have a feeling that I'm going to love Marriott until I don't have the points, and then
Yeah.
you know,
But then
I
where are you going to go?
personally, well, I don't know. So actually,
Because like go to
well,
look at
that's a
IHG.
great.
That's a wreck of a program.
No, IHG's customer support is so terrible that I can't deal with it. I think that the logical move for me. I mean, we'll see, because right now I still love Marriott and all the Starwood brands I have a huge affinity towards. So we're going to have to see what happens. But for me, a lot of my travel is leisure and paid for by points that I earn on credit cards. And so when that becomes really difficult, Marriott's not going to be able to get me to suddenly pay for a million nights in a hotel to get the benefits, because it's just not what my behavior is to begin with, right? So I think that's a really good segue now into the next topic. Is I think I'm going to wind up with Hyatt, and I think I'm going to wind up with Hyatt because it is so easy to transfer points from Ultimate Rewards, right? I have
I
been
think a lot of
building up
people
a
are.
pretty healthy balance. Yeah, I've been building up a really healthy balance of Ultimate Rewards, paying business bills with plastic, earning Ultimate Rewards with that. Just with my Chase Sapphire Reserve, which I use for all of my travel and dining, and sometimes I'm even lax and I'll use it on everyday spend by mistake. I earn a lot of Ultimate Rewards points through my business and my personal spend. So I think I'd probably wind up going to Hyatt. But what do you think the top three choices are for an everyday spend card now to replace the Starwood Amex in people's wallet?
Are there three? I mean, just Freedom Unlimited for personal and Ink Unlimited for business.
You and
Like
Ink, the
if it's
same
not
card,
bonus spend,
Spencer.
like Freedom and Ink Unlimited. I'm saying like personal and business. Those are just like it's 1.5 Ultimate Rewards on everything. Like if it's not a bonus category, why? I mean, why put it on SPG? I mean, I guess you can use the Blue Business Plus as a business and get 2x, but it's up to 50K spend per year. So if you're a business that
Yeah.
does anything beyond that, like you're going to want, I mean, like I said, I know people who are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on business expenses. Like, that Blue Business Plus 50K, like cap really kind of goes out the window in week 1 of a month. So, I mean,
Sure.
like long term, like if they have spend that's not bonus, like you may as well just get 1.5 points per dollar with for Ultimate Rewards.
Yeah, I would love to have that problem.
Yeah.
I think that if I was spending that much for the business, I would probably do a mix of Amex Platinum after the Blue Business Plus ran out, right, at 1.5 on the spend over
If
5,000 a
you,
pop, just to
that's the hard part.
diversify.
That's the hard
Right.
part, though. A lot of people, even if they spend a lot, they're not necessarily spending $5,000 at a time.
I mean, if you're spending hundreds of thousands a month or something, you probably are. But I agree with you. I think that's why
Facebook
it's
ads
so
are different. You pay in
individualized.
little chunks.
Yeah,
So
that's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah, and that's why I still think it remains so individual.
yeah,
What card to replace with, and let's not forget there is also the option of a 2% cashback card, like the City
what's that?
Double Cash. I think that for
No, I mean
some people,
you can do better than that. You can do better than that if you get like the Alliant. I don't remember the name of it, but it's like the
I
Alliant
know the
Credit
one you're
Union is
talking about.
3% cash back the first year and 2.5% after that. Like, yeah, if cash back is that's your jam. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best like just everyday spend card out there.
Yeah.
I don't think anything better than that.
I think that the thing that I have started to realize, so I don't put much on the double cash. I have it. I do use it occasionally. Like, I'm at the supermarket. I don't. I mean, I live in Manhattan, so I don't spend enough at the supermarket to justify having one like the Amex every day or whatever earns extra on supermarket. So at that point, maybe I'll take 2%.
Do you have any food in your fridge?
A little bit, a little bit. I actually have never had, believe it or not, I've never had the unlimited card. I've had the reserve and the freedom, and now I've just now got applied for the Ink Unlimited, which I would use for the 1.5 spend, and certainly I think that does beat the cashback. But my point about the cashback is I've had a few conversations with people recently that are outside of our world, and they seem to actually value collecting both cash and points. So I think that that there is something to be said for now. Even though we know if someone has a reserve, then the unlimited is earning a minimum of 2.25%, even if they spend it in the travel portal. But not everyone wants to spend all the rewards on travel, and some people just want cash. So I think So I think that the top cards to replace it are probably the Blue Business Plus, the Ink Unlimited, the regular Chase Sapphire, or the Freedom Unlimited. I can't think of another one that I really love.
For points,
but
I mean, if you're somebody who spends like $5,000 on individual purchases, then maybe the Business Platinum is like something you'll want. And there's plenty of businesses that do that. It's just, I think more broadly, it's easier if you can just get 1.5 or 2x without thinking about how much you're spending.
Absolutely.
And I think people like Ultimate Rewards. I think especially because you can transfer them to Hyatt and get it, depending on the stay, get a good value out of it, or use it on airlines. So I think that kind of this is a whole nother topic, but like membership rewards has like a bit of a hole in its program in that sense.
Yes.
Just because it doesn't really make sense to transfer their points to their hotel partners unless you're like staying in like Northern Europe and choice is your only option, but whatever. So I think Chase is just like an easy option for people now, just because they don't have to think about it.
Yeah, I think that is actually in my mind already going to be a whole nother MilesTalk Live, which is comparison of the three programs, right? Amex, Chase, and Citi. I wouldn't recommend it for an everyday card, but another card people should have on the radar is the Citi Thank You Premier for earning 3 times on travel. And those points have, as you well know, they have partners that that Chase doesn't have, that Amex doesn't have. What Chase has done, just to wrap it in 30 seconds here, like Chase has done the best job of making everything super easy, right? That's also why their Sapphire brand has not been profitable for them. They've actually made it too easy to combine points and maximize this and that and transfer it out and use it, and it's really easy to grasp. Amex, I don't think that's used to be what?
I don't think it's
too
think it's
crazy.
Easy. I think it's Chase really easy. I think Chase it's easy, but I don't think it's too easy. I think Chase has designed a solid program, and I don't really see the need for them to like mess with it.
I don't want them to mess with it, but it's pretty lucrative. Amex, on the other hand, I think still makes things too difficult in a lot of areas. Like, the Amex Platinum airline credit, choose your airline, register for this, sign up for that. They clearly do it to have, what they call breakage on it, but that does lower the benefit of the product. And then Citi has such great transfer partners, but it's a little bit lacking on the IT side. They don't have any hotel partners. But for example, transferring Citi to say Avianca, right, with no fuel surcharges on a Lufthansa flight to Europe for $63,000. I mean, that's fantastic value. Short haul, you transfer to Cathay Pacific. So they do have some great partners, but they're I always refer to them as like the advanced program. If you are really into miles and points, it's you can get outsized value out of the thank you program.
I like that.
Yeah, so that's why I definitely wouldn't.
I'm giving a talk on
Citi
thank you points. I'm giving a talk on Citi thank you points at the Chicago seminars because I think that they are underappreciated. So. Excellent.
Well, I hope that's recorded and shared. I agree with you. So, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend the Premier as an everyday card because it's only going to earn 1 point. But I think it's a good card to have in your wallet. And right now there's a 60,000 point sign up bonus, which is higher than it's been in a long time. So it's an interesting time to consider that card. Quickly, so we've got 7 minutes left. And on the topic of credit cards, and to stay on topic with Marriott and Starwood right now, 4 credit cards, there's about to be 5, Chase Marriott, Chase Business Marriott, Starwood, Amex, Personal Starwood, Business Amex, and coming soon, August 23rd, the Starwood Luxury Amex. Everybody wants to get the sign-up bonuses. A lot of people want the Lux card. Even a lot of people want the Lux card not just for the sign-up bonus. They want to have the benefits of the card. But there is just a maze that Marriott has done now where you're not eligible for the bonus. How closely have you paid attention to all of the rules around who can and can't get what?
I mean, they basically extended 524 across 2 banks, but just for the Marriott co-brands. I feel like that was a Chase thing. But
then why is Amex doing it?
I'm saying I think that was because Amex was an SPG partner, and then Chase was had the Marriott relationship, and I'm pretty sure that they were trying to. I think Marriott was probably trying to keep everybody happy, and Chase basically was like, "Fine, you can have both. You can work with both of us, but you have to extend our rules to these cards." I have no idea. It's pure speculation. That seems plausible. Yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah. I mean, my own speculation is that Marriott probably has to pay something towards these sign-up bonuses, and if they feel like these sign-up bonuses are not gaining them actually new customers, they don't want to pay for that, and I think that's why they're maybe enforcing it through both issuers. But you might be right. I mean, that was just the way I sort of read it. I think so much of you and I and everyone that's in the miles and points world, we speculate a heck of a lot, right? And we could know a lot about the business of loyalty marketing, but we're not in these meetings, and we don't get to really know that. But what's your advice for someone, if somebody wants the Starwood Luxury card, and I've actually got some notes. So if you want the luxury card, if you have the current Marriott card, you're gonna have to wait 24 months from when you last got the bonus. Even if, and I think this is really, really interesting, even if you have the Marriott business card from Chase, you can't get the Starwood Luxury card. I think that's actually a little silly. I don't know why they did that.
That's as of August 26th. Is that the?
That's as of August 26th. Yeah, and
so people have 2 days.
You only get the bonus once a lifetime. Yeah, exactly. So if you've had any of the Marriott products in the last 24 months, you're not going to be eligible. But as you just started to say, there is a 2-day window where everybody can get whatever they want right now.
It's a free for all.
Yeah, it's a free for all. And so this is the most important thing. We got 4 minutes left, and I want everybody to really pay attention. If right now, if you want one of the sign up bonuses for the Marriott cards, if you want the Starwood Luxury card, you can do it now. Right now, you could get the Marriott cards. Okay. Remember, if let's say you want to get the business Marriott and the regular Marriott, get the business one first. You can get two within 30 days at Chase, as long as you haven't had one in the last 30 days at Chase. You should be okay with that. And then August 23rd is when
But you
the
also have to be
luxury
under
card.
524
But you have to be
You
under
have to be under
524.
for the personal
Although
version.
not for the Chase business, right? For the personal,
Not for the
yes,
business.
not for the business. And then August 23rd is when the luxury card comes out. And so for the 23rd, 24th, sorry, it's a 3-day window. The 23rd, 24th, and 25th, you can apply for that luxury card regardless of what Chase cards you've had. And then starting on August 26th, you can no longer really get
Everything
anything
shut down.
anymore. I mean, everybody's locked out of everything. If you've already had an affinity, if you've had a big affinity for Marriott through Chase or through SPG Amex, you're locked out of everything. Like, don't even apply ever again. It's the way. I mean,
It's
the way I read these rules,
over.
it's all over. You're never getting another bonus ever again. It's sad times. Everyone's going to be sad. And this is, going back to how hard it's going to be to earn the Marriott points in the future. That's a large part why, right? 100,000 points, 75,000 point, 125,000 point bonus, backing that even back to Starwood points, you're talking 25, 30, 35,000 points. Those were big bonuses. And, even though you can only get the Starwoods once per lifetime, that was still a significant bump when people needed it. So the most important thing is, if you want those cards, you want to get them August 23rd, 24th, 25th. So mark your calendar. You can be sure that I will be sending out posts reminding people about that. We'll be talking about it on the group. Nobody that follows us will not know about this, but you still maybe mark your calendar, because I'll tell you, I'm applying for the Lux card on 23rd, no question. I would like to have it. I want the bonus. I want the card.
Just over breakfast.
Are you going to go for
it? Sitting there like, I don't know. I honestly haven't thought about it. I'm not too worried about it. I just
Spencer, you're gonna have 3 days. You're gonna think about it.
I don't know. I don't know. I think I've earned a good chunk of points at this point. I'm just focused on using them. I don't like sitting on tons of points. I think
Do you have more than 10
there's always
million
the word.
points?
No.
Then you need more points, man.
I'll figure it out. I don't know. I did just get the thank you Premier card at 60K. So that was
Nice.
I got that. I was 2 weeks outside of my 24-month window from getting the Prestige just over 2 years ago. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to call City and argue with them. But I mean, they sent me an approval email 2 years and 3 weeks ago, so it's documented. So
I think you're set.
But yeah, I mean,
think you're set.
I mean, maybe SPG Luxury, maybe. I just don't know if it's. I don't know if it's worth it, if I really need it for what I have coming up. So I guess we'll just have to find out.
Offhand? Do you know offhand how many cards you've applied for in the past 24 months?
Enough. Whatever the right amount is.
I don't know what the right amount is. I think a lot of us actually really don't know what the right amount is.
There is.
Less than 1 million, I think, is good. I don't know. I really don't know. I personally go in waves where I get 3 cards in a month or whatever, and then I don't get one for several months. But okay, so we're gonna wrap up now. Do you have any parting thoughts on the Starriott merger?
I think it's the same advice I generally have for people when it comes to miles and points, which is what's the phrase? Keep calm and carry on. It's just so easy to get wrapped up and freak out over every change and adjustment or devaluation. And yes, some of them are actually quite bad, but I mean, I don't know. I have to focus on like what's in front of me and not things that are just upsetting me all the time. So I'll keep looking for fun opportunities, and there's still plenty of those out there.
Definitely. All right. Well, Spencer, I think we're going to wrap it up now. I've got my fingers crossed that this whole thing actually recorded. If it did,
We'll find out.
If it is, then we're going to upload it everywhere. And if it didn't,
If not, this was just a great conversation between two friends.
That's right.
That no one will ever know about.
That'll be the absolute worst case, although that would be very sad times. Well, we'll find out in just a minute. So thanks again for joining me, and talk to you soon, Spence.
All right, see you, bud.